Welcome in, everybody. Michigan State Spartans live here on the Voice of College Football Network. I am your host, Ryan Elke, and we are, 24 days until Michigan State football? Let me check the calendar to get the math correct because we need that. Maybe I start adding the official countdown. 1, 2, 3. That's 21, 22, 23, 24 days. 23 days, 23 hours until game one, Michigan State versus Toledo, Friday night, Spartan Stadium. And I can't believe we're this close. Fall camp is here. We're getting the reports. We're seeing the photos. We're seeing the videos. And it is absolutely amazing to see. Football is back on our screens, at least our miniature screens. So, what we're going to talk about today, we're talking about buying the hype. 4 days of camp, and I have a feeling, at least for myself, that I might be feeling a little too good right now. I don't know what this is. I'm a little too excited, and I just saw the video Michigan State posted just after 8 o'clock today on their Twitter. It's about 8 minutes long. I just posted on my Twitter as well. Ryan EL_key. Pretty much it was like a recap video of the first 4 days of camp, and it might have gotten me too hyped up for this show, especially what I wanted to talk about today was buying the fall camp hype of hearing all these good things the coaches are saying, the nice things the media are saying, and they're not being nice to be nice. And, these coaches, they don't have to say nice things about the team right now. Like that's not their job with the media. They just answer the questions. But as we've heard over the last few days, that this team might mess around and do something this year. What that thing is, I don't know. Like we saw the first day of camp, and what was on the big screen, Pat Fitzgerald yelling, "Why not us?" And on the screen, Big Ten championship, college football playoff, college football semifinal, national championship game. Are we talking about the same program I've watched the last 4 years? Are we? Because I didn't know we could sniff that right now. But here we are, a cup of coffee with Pat Fitzgerald, and I'm here believing something might happen. Maybe it's a little bit of copium, maybe it's a little bit of hopium. It's starting to feel nice. And maybe it's just because it is the opposite end of the bell curve of what we just came from. Of, everything monotone, everything okay, or from, keep chopping to why not us? And I am normally a level-headed, even-keeled fan when it comes to expectations. Yes, I will look on the bright side of things, but not the bright side of, when the team we have returning, it's like, yeah, we could go 10-2 this year. After watching that video, after hearing what, Joe Rossi was saying this week, just about how the defense been, about the emergence of Kenny Soares in 4 days of camp. Granted, he hasn't been here for 4 days, but to us Spartan fans, it's only been 4 days. Like, that's all we know of him right now. To hear Pat Fitzgerald talk the way he talks, now we also know the other end of that sentiment. You're going to talk the talk. Starting September 4th, you're going to have to walk the walk. And it's just nice though, going the start of fall camp, knowing, previous shows we had of question marks we have on this team, but to feel a little bit of excitement, to feel a little electricity tingling through your body, going through the downstairs all the way up to your fingertips. Like, it feels great that, you know, I might be buying into why not us. That I have the excitement of the season, that I might believe that this team could do something stupid and, you know, compete for a Big Ten championship. I will say compete, you know, get on the playoff ranking shows. You know, like I said, I'm not going to go as far as saying win the Big Ten or, pull off in Indiana, but that's also the dumb things that Kurt Signetti and that Indiana squad will do is make you believe that your team can come out of nowhere and do something special. We have Alessio in place. I mean, even through camp, it seemed like all offseason, the Spartan fans were hyping up Cam Edwards and speaking about what a great running back we have. And throughout this early reporting at camp, I don't know if I've heard anything about the running backs. And maybe it's just because of the drills are doing. It's early on. Like, I don't see anything too special about the running backs. And, I even remember Kenneth Walker's year coming in. Like, you didn't hear much about Kenneth Walker. They brought in a couple of running backs that season. So it was like, okay, Walker was the guy. And then play one, bam, 75 yards. Pat Fitzgerald had a nice front row seat for that one in Evanston. But that's also what that 21 team can install a little faith in us fans of each week kind of being that test of like, okay, we did this. Now we have Miami. Like, oh, we did this. Now we have the team could give us that little bit of hope of that we are dumb enough to do something like this. We are ignorant enough to go off and have a great season. Or maybe it's just us Spartan fans just, going without one for so long. But I think what also helps us, like makes us believe something is, and I've talked about it a lot, is Pat Fitzgerald being here and kind of having that belief, that hope, because he installs that in everyone. And one thing that it kind of brings back that Mark D'Antonio type feel. I want to reference a David Harn's article. He wrote one on the recently departed men's tennis coach Harry Jowden, about the feeling that D'Antonio created, that Izzo, that feeling he creates to be a Spartan. And that's what Pat Fitzgerald is already doing, is creating that feeling right now for the room, for the eyes, peeking in on that room, us watching all the videos. It's creating that feel and that belief of what it means to be a Spartan. And I think that's what fans are most excited about. Is not that we're having to sit here and us as fans trying to create the narratives. Like we don't have to sit here and, pump up September Heisman's. Like, we're just excited that, our coaching staff is creating this excitement for us, because we didn't have that the last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Tucker was there during COVID. So, 6 years. So Pat Fitzgerald is creating that belief already right now on August 11th. And I might, put all the chips in right now. Not really. I'm not gonna go to FanDuel and place a bet right now. I mean, but knowing the Michigan State over is like what, 4.5, their win total. I'd put a lot of money on, as much as I think Carlos Monarez is willing to bet Tarek Skubal won't return as a Detroit Tiger, I might match him on Michigan State's over total wins right now. That's how good I'm feeling. And as we've pointed out, like the schedule aligns with us this year to help. Like it's a very favorable Big Ten schedule this year. We have the MAC championship weeks 1 and 2, Toledo Eastern. Notre Dame, we'll ignore that game right now. But then I had a whole episode dedicated to this 4-game stretch: Nebraska at Wisconsin, Illinois, Northwestern. Like you come away in that stretch 3-1, you're sitting at 5-2, 7 games in. Like that's great. Like I think us personal Spartan fans, we need to up the win total for ourselves when betting. Like, what's the win total where in your mind that you bought all into this Spartan team? Like, what's that win total you're sitting at? Yes, if everything goes right for us, but we still know we're not up there. We're not at the top yet. Are we sitting at 9-3? Are we looking 9-3, 10-2? Like you want to pencil in the auto losses of Notre Dame and Oregon? And then what? You're tough. You have a tough out west against UCLA, but they have a first-year coach, Bob Chesney from JMU. So we don't know exactly what that will be. We don't know if that's Signetti 2.0. We don't know what Michigan will be under Kyle Whittingham. Whereas Pat Fitzgerald is building us all up for this belief. It seems like Kyle Whittingham, he has that opposite approach. I mean, we lived through that style of coach that came from out west that wasn't the rah-rah guy, and then unexpectedly finds himself out east, not understanding the rivalries he's in necessarily. Maybe he understands it, he just doesn't buy into them. He doesn't feed into it. I guess that's the correct way. He doesn't feed into it. We saw that with Jonathan Smith. Not like I say that's the same. It's going to be the same outcome for Kyle Whittingham, but it might take a minute for him, like, to get into these rivalries, to know that Michigan State comes up first, and to see what that rivalry actually means to the people out here in the Midwest. Not that Utah doesn't have rivalry. Utah has some intense rivals, but still, so did Oregon State when Jonathan Smith came over. We thought he would understand it. Like Washington comes out this way. Oregon, on a Friday night, coming off a short week, no buys, and then ending at Rutgers. So you want to pencil one of those UCLA, Michigan, Washington games as a loss, just one of them. 9-3. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm fully buying into the hype, and I'm going to put a poll question here up in the chat. So go ahead and vote on it. What is your win total for MSU if you are fully bought in? When you are fully bought in. Typing it in now. I'll put 9 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins. I'll even go down to 6 wins. Maybe you're just a pessimist, and I understand it. So there's the poll question right there in the comments for you. Go ahead, vote for it. What is your win total for MSU when you are fully bought in? Because after watching that video Michigan State dropped just about an hour ago of Pat Fitzgerald and Michigan State Spartans' first few days of camp, showing the team meetings, showing Kenny Soares earning the number 1 jersey, showing those coaches meetings, and talking about just what they're seeing. And how good this team is looking so far. They say, and they don't have to say those things. They could come out and say, "Hey, things are sloppy after summer. We have a whole bunch of new guys. We're getting everyone on track." Pat Fitzgerald's like, "Hey, no, well, while the water breaks aren't running efficiently, like things are looking good." Joe Rossi coming out just speaking on, Chuck Brantley and how great Kenny Soares has looked in, the first few days of practice, all while looking like Mike Greenberg's older cousin or older brother. You know, it is something that's hitting different this year than years past about coming into this season. And I know for a lot of fans, when the Fitzgerald hired was announced, it was it's kind of like I don't know, Jim. Tony Romo, before or after visiting his grandparents, who knows? Um, like a lot of people are, I don't know if they were fully sold yet on Pat Fitzgerald, but I think after these first few days, that hype machine is picked up. And I know the slappies out there, they they'll buy in every year. They'll say 12-0, Big Ten, going for the championship. But I mean, we all say that. We all say that we're around our friends as well, especially the Michigan fans, just kind of jokingly. But we all sit back realistically and think like, well, all right, where's our ceiling at? What if everything went right for us? What is that ultimate win total? So right now, Michigan State set at 4.5 on the markets. I want to know, what's your win total when you are fully bought into the hype? Because right now, I might be as most bought in as ever on an August 11th before season. What I've been hearing from Pat Fitzgerald's media sessions, what videos they're pumping out, the video team, the creative team doing a great job already. They're making me feel things right now. So we got some votes in. 8 wins is right now. If you're fully bought in, when you're jumped all the way in. So I just, where are you guys at too? You watch the videos. You're watching this video now. What's your excitement? Are you fully bought in, or are you just kind of like, okay, like at least there's nice things to say right now? Like at least things are going okay. Like that's always a nice barometer to set too. Like so far, knock on wood, it's only been positive things from East Lansing during training camp, during fall camp, NFL training camp. Like we can look, down the road, down the state, and see what the Lions go through every year during their training camp. Talking about the players going down, players holding out, this and that. Like, at least as of now, we haven't heard of a college player holding out due to an NIL dispute. Thankfully, hopefully that's not a can of worms we have to open up in upcoming years. But we've heard good things coming out of camp so far. And I think it's nice after the last few years, even kind of seeing what our pro teams have gone through, they're kind of having the slow rise up, then the come down. Like to just have this excitement in the off season, to feel good about a team going into week 1, knowing who our quarterback is, knowing that, our biggest issue of the last few years, the offensive line, has been addressed. To see that, an edge rusher we brought into what we thought was a weak spot of this team has already captured the hearts of his teammates, has earned that number 1 jersey that is heralded for Coach Fitzgerald. I think that's what was the shock, because I think we all expected Jordan Hall to be the guy to receive that number 1 jersey. I think that's what we were expecting. Like, we were fully expecting Jordan Hall to be voted by his teammates and, not wear the number 1, but have the number 1 sticker on the back of his helmet. Like, we were expecting that. And I think, like, of course, Jordan Hall. But now we put some hype and some electricity to Kenny Soares' name before game 1. And there's nothing wrong with having a little expectations of these guys. Like, there's nothing wrong with feeling like we should expect something great out of this team. Like, I think like we cope in a way to that. We try to put limitations on them, but as Coach Fitzgerald said in his videos, his first meeting with the team back in January when he was hired, his first fall camp meeting, less than a week ago. Why not us? Why not us Spartan fans feel good and have hype for this team? Like, it's okay to put some expectations on them, because they are no longer just kids. Like, these are paid adults. These coaches are paid handsomely. Like, it's okay to sit there and say, damn it, let's go out and do this thing. Like, let's expect Alessio to step up and have a great year, to Cam Edwards to come in and run his head off, to, Murawski, Sharp, Fraley, Moore, Sinek, like, to, put some bodies on the ground. Kenny Soares to come in to earn the trust, earn that number 1 jersey, play like you earn the number 1 jersey. To Chuck Brantley to give us more than the one memory we have of him. To give us one more memory of other than picking off McNamara in Spartan Stadium. Give us one more memory this year that we can keep, sharing every single year, pointing back on. Get Trey Ball to come and make a name. Instead of us looking back at 2021, our Spartans, our favorite Spartans of the last few years, to next year, we're having fun in the offseason sharing videos of 2026. That's what Pat Fitzgerald is doing for me right now, is making me buy the hype and making me up my expectations of this team. Is that fair to them? Of course it's not fair, but I'm kind of tired of being fair. I'm kind of tired of having to be fair to my sports teams, because sometimes they're not exactly fair to us. Like, they're just not. So maybe I indulge my inner, Neanderthal fan and just yell, just win the damn game. Why can't we be them? Why can't we do this? Why not us? Maybe I embrace a little more of that side this year. Granted, not fully. Like, I'll still, a rational part of me will sit down and try to make sense of it all. But let's go into this year and buy the hype and put some expectations on this team to exceed, what everyone else thinks about you, and to set the new standard of what Spartan football is. Because the standard of Mark D'Antonio, as we've seen, that standard is gone, because he's been gone for 6 years. The standard of what Spartan football is what Mel Tucker and Jonathan Smith has left us. And it's time to up that standard of what it means to be a Spartan football player, of what it is to be a fan of a Michigan State football team. Like, it's okay to expect more out of them, especially now in this day and age. I'm also, like I said, embrace the Neanderthal fan. I will not be DMing players, though. Do not do that if they have a bad game. That's just being a bad fan. We don't need that. I'll put my hand down, put my foot down on that right now. Don't DM the players if they have bad games. They are people. We can have expectations. I can yell through this microphone how displeased I am with them. We can tell our buddies how much we don't like them. Don't go to their messages and leave those thoughts. Write them down or DM me what you deem a player. That way, if you just need to get it out, you can get it out. Follow me on Twitter, Ryan EL_key. And that way, we need to lift their spirits up here. We need to have, sit there and put them in a great spot to go out, get, 8, 9, 10 wins to get us back into that national spotlight for a good reason. There's been a lot of not fun reasons Michigan State has been in the spotlight over the last few years. Especially for Pat Fitzgerald, he's coming in and, he has doubters to prove. He has people to prove wrong too. To be ousted from your alma mater and, the way he was, and then have to get your name cleared or, proven wrong of the stories that were told of you. He has a lot of people to prove wrong as well. And what it's showing, at least in, again, 4 days of camp, and I'm already speaking like this man's been here for 10 years, and I'm ready to lie on a sword for him. But I got distracted. Tigers win. They beat the Guardians. Huzzah. Lost my train of thought there with the Tigers' victory. But Pat Fitzgerald, he has a lot of people. He's diving in more than 100%. And hopefully, I'm saying hopefully, willingly, I want to speak it into existence that this Spartan team has a chance to just do something special for all of us this season. And it's crazy that all it took was a couple of videos, a transfer coming in and taking over the locker room. That's all it took for me to kind of get here. But I think that's the conviction that Pat Fitzgerald is selling right now. Is that it's okay for all of us to sit here and buy the hype and up our expectations and to remind ourselves what the Spartan standards are. That the Spartan standards aren't, 6 wins and a trip to the Boca Raton Bowl. Like, those aren't the Spartan standards. The Spartan standards are going to Indianapolis, getting to the college football playoff. Yeah, those were the standards D'Antonio set. If we can go back even further, the Spartan standards are winning championships. Like, that's the standards that we're trying to get back to. And I think Pat Fitzgerald already for myself, I don't know for you yet, in 4 days, Pat Fitzgerald has upped my standards of what Spartan football is again. And let's see, we have 24 days for him to prove me right, prove me wrong, prove you right, prove you wrong. We'll see. So 24 days. That's what we have. That's how many more days I have to watch videos in the buy hype before we can see it in person. So I want to thank you all for joining us tonight and hearing my hype. I have the hype machine. I think I have it somewhere down here because I let it go tonight. I want to thank you all for joining me here on Michigan State Spartans Live, Voice of College Football Network. We're live every Tuesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Once we get into the season, we'll be doing a live post-game show after the game. When after the game, we'll play that week by week. Just for the home games, I'll be there. I don't know if I can do a live show from the stadium. Might have to wait to drive home. And then we'll do a live show after the road games. As soon as media is done with the team road games, I'm not traveling to outside Notre Dame, not traveling to road games this year. We'll do one an hour after each road game. So we'll have a third show for the week once games start, just 24 days away. So I want to thank you all for joining Michigan State Spartans Live. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like this video. If you have other Spartan fans in your lives, share this channel. You guys can jump right in the comments, and we can get these comments rolling, and we can hear more of what you want to hear about as well. So I thank you all. Subscribe to us, like us. Follow me on Twitter, RyanEL_Key. Follow me on TikTok. I'm at Postgame Walks and Elke, EHLKE. Follow me on TikTok as well. Work to get our shows live up on there here shortly. So we'll be back Thursday, 9 p.m. for Michigan State Spartans Live here on the Voice of College Football Network. And go green.